I knew something was wrong the moment my wife slid the hospital bill across the table instead of looking me in the eyes. She kept talking, fast and shaky, explaining procedures, medications, follow-ups. Big numbers circled in red ink. I waited for the part where this involved me. Then she said it. He's sick. He needs treatment. And you're the only one who can help. Not our child. Her child. The room went quiet in that sharp, hollow way that usually comes before something breaks. I stared at the papers, then at her stomach. Flat now. Healed from a pregnancy I had believed was a miracle after years of trying. That's when the truth finally crawled out. The child wasn't mine. The affair partner had disappeared the moment responsibility showed up. Blocked her, quit his job, left town. The man she'd risked our marriage for vanished like he'd never existed. And now she wanted me to pay. I didn't yell. I didn't flip the table. I asked one question. "How long were you planning to lie to me?" she cried. Said she was scared. Said she didn't know how to tell me. Said she thought once the baby was here, I'd love him enough not to care. That was the moment my marriage ended. I thought back over everything. The sudden pregnancy, the emotional distance, the way she flinched whenever I talked about names or family resemblance. I had ignored my instincts because I trusted her more than myself. That trust had a price, and she expected me to pay it. I told her no, not cruelly, not dramatically, just no. She lost it, accused me of abandoning an innocent child, of being heartless, of punishing a baby for adult mistakes. She said real men step up. Real husbands don't turn their backs. I listened. Then I stood up and walked out of my own house. That night I didn't sleep. I didn't drink. I didn't spiral. I called a lawyer. By morning, I had answers. Paternity tests, financial responsibility, legal boundaries. The truth, stripped of emotion, is very clean. The child wasn't mine. The responsibility wasn't mine. The marriage was already dead. When I told her I wanted a DNA test and a separation, she panicked. She begged. She said she'd never ask for money again. She said she'd fix everything. But something inside me had gone cold. The test confirmed what I already knew. I filed for divorce the same week. That's when she turned ugly. She told friends and family a carefully edited story, that I'd abandoned her and a sick child, that I'd changed overnight, that I was cruel and selfish. Some people believed her. Some didn't. I stopped caring. What I did care about was protecting myself. I froze joint accounts, documented every expense, every message, every attempt she made to guilt or threaten me into paying. I learned how manipulation sounds when you stop confusing it with love. The affair partner never came back. Not when the hospital called, not when the bills piled up, not when reality demanded more than promises. She tried to make that my fault too. "You're punishing me because he left," she said during one argument. "You're getting revenge on the wrong person," I corrected her. "I'm refusing to take responsibility for a betrayal you chose." The divorce process was brutal for her, not because I attacked, but because the safety net she assumed would always be there was gone. She had to face doctors, bills, and consequences alone. I didn't celebrate that, but I didn't rescue her either. The judge was clinical. The law didn't care about guilt trips or tears. Assets were divided. Obligations were clarified. I walked away legally clean. She didn't. Months later, she reached out again. Softer this time. Defeated. She said she understood now. She said she never should have asked me to pay. She said she was desperate. I believed her. And I still said no. Because helping her would have meant betraying myself all over again. Here's the part people argue about when they hear this story. They say the child is innocent. They're right. They say compassion matters. It does. They say I could have helped anyway. What they don't understand is this. Paying wouldn't have been kindness. It would have been permission. Permission to erase betrayal with guilt. Permission to rewrite responsibility. I didn't ruin her life. I refused to fund the lie that almost destroyed mine. Today, I live somewhere quieter, smaller, honest. I rebuilt slowly. Trust, confidence, routines that don't require looking over my shoulder. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain. I hope her child gets the care he needs, just not at the cost of my dignity. If there's one lesson I carry forward, it's this. You can be compassionate without being complicit. You can walk away without being cruel. And sometimes, the strongest revenge isn't punishment. It's refusing to pay for someone else's betrayal.